We hit a bunch of albino eclipses here. See, they're all white. That would be Motley, Leopard, which would make a black snake, and then albino takes away the black, and we got albino eclipses. What's up, snake fans? Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily. The sun is setting. It looks like it's going to rain here in Cape Coral. It's always good for breeding action, you know that. And we could definitely use some rain here. The wells are drying up. It's been we've been without rain for so long. Usually in New York, you know, April and May it rains. Not here. We got to wait till the summer to get some rain. So hopefully it'll be coming soon. Today we got a surprise, and I'm not going to tell you what it is till we get inside the snake room and we'll check it out. I'm also going to look at a clutch that hatched, a ball python clutch from a friend of mine. I was keeping his eggs in my incubator, and it's a really nice one, so I'm going to show you that as well. So guys, stay tuned. Let's go in and see what we produced. All right, I'm going to show you this clutch. It's not mine, but I had sold a pair of caramel hypo pinstripes. So that's a caramel glow pinstripe that was sold, that male, along with a double head for caramel glow or caramel hypo, to a guy by the name of Brandon. He's a friend of mine, and he doesn't have an incubator yet, so I told him, hey, you can bring him over here. Of course, whenever you sell something, they always produce amazing results, and he got some really nice babies in this clutch, so I wanted to show them to you. Not all of them have shed. This one, I'm just looking right off the bat, and I see a nice little, this is a caramel albino right here, really beautiful. Super, super nice. You know, and caramels are like ultramels and monarchs. They're just a different, you know, different line of T positive. Really clean T positive albino. Really nice. This one looks to be a hypo. Everything will be 100% het. So this is caramel het hypo. This is hypo het caramel, and then he hit 2 caramel glows, believe it or not. Of course, I haven't hit one in 5 years because I have terrible luck with this project. But yeah, this one is really nice. This one hasn't. He hit 2 actually. I don't know if they both shed yet. I think this one's still in. This one's gonna still shed. I think this one just shed. Let's put this one over here for a second. Since this one shed, we can take a look. Okay, let's throw that shed away. Okay, so this, I haven't sexed him yet. I'm going to sex him for him in a little bit, but this turned out really, really nice. Hypo and caramel together are great, and these are called caramel glows. When you use ultramel as your T positive and you put hypo, we call that an ultra glow. And I guess if you use a monarch and a hypo, it would be called a monarch glow. So they all look pretty much the same. A lot of people are afraid of the caramel line because some lines of caramel have some defects. This line of caramels that I've been breeding for years and years, they do really well. They don't have any defects usually, so pretty happy with that. I think he's going to be very happy with these babies. He's like, what should I do? I said, keep them. I said, these are great. I produced 3 a couple years ago, and I'm like, man, I should have kept them. I sold them all, and I never produced another one. I said really bad luck. I produced a couple pinstripe caramel glows, but I didn't produce any just like pure ones like this, which I really love. So, congratulations, Brandon. All right, we have the first tub I opened up. I'm looking for a dead rat because I smell a dead rat in here. We just fed yesterday, and this is a surprise. Very big surprise. I'll tell you why, because this female has never once been on the heat. She's been sitting on the cold side of the cage, and I thought she was going to have babies. I really did, but I was like, you know what? I don't think so, because I have not seen this girl in the heat at all. Obviously, she's trying to defend her babies. I'm going to tell you what this is all about in a second. Slav, you're going to be very happy, because this female came to me indirectly through Slav. And Slav produced this girl back in 2019 and was, I guess, sold to someone, and then they traded it to me. So this is an Eclipse, which is a Motley, Leopard, het albino, het KAHL albino. It's also possible ORANGASM PASTEL line. So that's a line bred trait. We're going to look at the babies and see if we see a lot of orange in them. and it's also possible jungle. So we're gonna see if we have any jungle also. Now I bred this beautiful female, which is one of the nicest looking eclipses that I produced. Remember, eclipses is when you get a black snake from mixing Motley with Leopard. This snake always had lots of reds in it, which was probably from the ORANGASM pastel line in it. Now, we bred this to a blood leopard, 66% het albino male, because you know my goal is to produce leopard blood albinos at some point in commemoration of Tom Burke. Now we have albinos here. I don't know if they're alive or not, but I haven't looked at them yet. The fact that we have albinos means that the male was indeed het albino, so that's great. So the male proved out to be het albino. We're gonna try to get this girl out of here, or at least get the babies out of here, and see what we have and what's alive. She definitely had them last night. There's a lot of goo here, and this is definitely a recent litter. We didn't miss this yesterday by any means. I opened up every boa tub every day. Pablo didn't see it this morning because he didn't expect to see a baby litter from this girl, because like I said, we haven't seen this girl sitting on the heat. Did we try to feed her yesterday?
You know what? No.
We didn't try to feed her, which is interesting. Yeah. All right, let's pull her. All right, guys, we pulled the mama, and Pablo and I just kind of looking through the babies. We hit a bunch of albino eclipses here. See, they're all white. That would be Motley, Leopard, which would make a black snake, and then albino takes away the black, and we got albino eclipses. The great thing about these albino eclipses is in the past I've had some problems, because I don't know if it was because of inbreeding depression, where I've had, a lot of the albino eclipses die, or they're missing an eye, and this is, outcrossed, because I bred a European male to Slav's female, and so we got some outcrossed blood here, and I think that really helped out this whole situation. So there we have that's a albino leopard. This little guy was running away here. He's looks like leopard. Look at this little weird leopard. What is that pattern? Bob, you see the little squares in the back?
Squares.
What the heck is that? It almost looks Aztec.
Yeah.
That is bizarre. That's really, really weird. Look at this albino. This is like really maybe the nicest snake in the whole clutch. It doesn't look like, is that leopard albino? It might be leopard albino.
And it has some of the square too.
Yeah, well, everything has to be leopard albino. Everything has to be leopard, so it has to be leopard albino. I just realized that. Yeah, so we have to, yeah, so that's leopard albino. Because both parents were leopard.
So everything
has to be leopard. Now, and the great thing about this, guys, is everything in this clutch is het blood, because the father was leopard blood het albino. So this is great. So imagine this. I don't even know if it would change anything. This is an albino eclipse, but it's het blood. This is an albino leopard that's het blood, 100%. That's going to be great. I mean, that's, what I want to produce. I want to produce those albino leopard bloods. So we're really close here on some of these guys. Matter of fact, this one almost looks it like we hit the visual, but obviously the mother was not blood, so we're not going to hit any visuals. But anyway, all right, we're going to pull these guys and figure out. We had two. I think we had two dead. Well, one was a little deformed, and then one was dead. But everything else seems to be awake and alive, and we're going to get them into the incubator, because a lot of them have some big bellies that with a lot of yolk sac in them. I want them to absorb those before we put them in their own tubs. Great. Sometimes you walk in and you just get a really good day. This is really good, because this is more than I expected. Plus, we have to really look at these and see if we have jungle in these. I haven't really inspected them. I'm sure Slav probably has already figured it out just by me showing this little video, what's got jungle in it. But
look at the stripe on these.
Yeah, maybe that's jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with those albino eclipses though.
Some big bellies.
Yeah, they got some big bellies. We definitely got to get them into the incubator. All right, we'll figure it all out once they shed the first time. All right, here's our daddy of the clutch, who's in the shed. He just ate yesterday too. This is a blood leopard, so that's a double recessive. Blood is recessive, leopard is considered recessive. We definitely have 2 copies of each here, so. Blood Leopard, and we didn't know if he was going to prove out to be het albino because he was 66%er, and he did prove out. We have albinos in the litter, so he did a good job. He's, like I said, he's in pretty bad shape right now. You can see how blue his eye is, but that leopard blood combination is amazing. The only thing I would have loved to have in here would have been the hypo gene, which I think would have stripped away some of that darkness, but albino's going to do everything that we want it to do. So if we can produce albino leopard bloods, I think it's going to take the leopard blood to the next level. It's going to just add more red in it. One of those babies looked like it almost had blood in it right now. It was pretty cool. So that's future projects. Now here's another leopard blood I have. This is a female, and she is also 66% het. Albino. Now, I'm hoping she's going to prove out too, because now we know at least the male is going to prove out, or has proved out. She's still probably too young to breed this coming season. We're going to probably need another whole year, and that would bring her up to about 3.5 years old. So we still have another whole season and a half to go before we get to potentially breeding her. And we have a couple other females I'll show you as well that potentially in that breeding program. Now this female is a Motley triple het. So she's het for leopard, het for albino, het for blood. She's 100% het for all of those 3 genes. And she's got Motley in her, which is kind of cool. Add another little dimension to that project. Potentially produce Motley albino leopard bloods, which I would think have more contrast in them, because Motley adds darkness and pattern. So it'll be interesting. This girl might actually get up to size. She's a year older than the one I just showed you. The one I just showed you obviously is a double recessive, so I would probably be much more likely to go with this girl for a first breeding with our blood leopard het albino, because he's double visual in blood and leopard, so that's going to make it a lot easier to hit the blood and leopard. The albino would be the only thing that would be a 25% chance, and I think if she produced enough babies, we would probably hit it. So that's she might be our next best bet. Once again, she's not going to be ready this year, but probably definitely the following season for sure. But you never know. I think we should start feeding her a little bit more heavily, and we might get her up to size, because she is 3 years old now. And by the end of the year, she's going to be almost, 3.5, almost 4. So it's possible. And remember, these leopards and bloods are smaller boas, so they're not going to be gigantic. Even though they do have albino blood in them, which are Colombian boas, they're still going to be smaller. So she might be ready at the end of this year. We'll have to see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today here at Palumbo's Pythons and Boas. Great clutch. this was, sometimes you get great stuff from things you never expected. I didn't really think this girl was going to go. Because I'm telling you, she was not sitting on the hot spot, not whatsoever. But I saw a lot of breeding locks earlier in the season. But usually boas will sit on the hot spot. The one thing that did kind of tip me off is she wasn't eating. So I said, there is a possibility. And I guess what I'm trying to relay here is that don't get frustrated if things don't go according to the book. Sometimes boas will shed a week before they give birth. I've seen it happen multiple times. Sometimes they'll poop out babies a week or 2 before they actually deliver the full litter. Sometimes, as I just showed, they won't sit on the hot spot. Not usual. All my other boas sit on the hot spot. She didn't. This turned out to be a great litter. The female, like I told you, I got it indirectly from Slav, and Slav produces some great, quality snakes. This is this ORANGASM Eclipse or ORANGASM Leopard Motley het albino proved to be spectacular. The babies are looking awesome. I can't wait to see what they look like after they shed. I think we're gonna have some really, really cool babies. And I used a male. This was his first time. He did the job. A leopard blood proved to be het albino. I mean, sometimes things go as planned, sometimes they don't, and that's the world of boa breeding. And you better get used to it if you're going to breed boas, because sometimes you get great stuff happen. Sometimes you have great tragedies happen. And this just happened to work out. Hopefully these babies make it. Let's see what happens. You know, it's only been one day. I put them in the incubator. Some of them have some, you know, big egg bellies. Hopefully they'll absorb all that egg. But the great thing is that everything in this clutch is leopard. We have about 50% of those that are albino leopards, and about 50% of those that are albino eclipses, which is Motley albino leopard. And everything is het blood. That is cool. I don't think anyone's produced an albino eclipse that's het blood yet. So if that works out and these snakes make it, that should be some future breeding projects that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Will the blood gene actually infuse the albino eclipse with red, or will it not? I think it might. I think if it was, you know, when we talk about, you know, leucistics, a lot of times the leucistics will not infuse. Like, you can add IMG to a super fire diamond, you're not going to get a darker snake. But with like the eclipse, I think we can influence color, because we've done it before already with this ORANGASM. Look at the ORANGASM eclipse we produced, and she was much redder than a typical eclipse, which is much darker chocolate like color. So there's a lot of possibilities for the future. This was a great boa litter, and I'm super psyched. Thank you for all involved. Slav, thanks for producing that great female, and thank you to my friends in Europe for producing that great male. I can't take any credit for the baby, for the parents. I just put them together. All right, guys, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, hit that like button. I'll see you back tomorrow morning.